Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormybman, and I am back. Welcoming you to Nerds on Culture with Stormy B Man for this Monday, October 20th, 2025. This is number 138 in the series of Nerds, and we're calling this one Why the Snyderverse Must Be Restored. Yeah, want to say welcome everybody this evening. Um, Back again with a conversation about WB, DC, Warner Brothers DC, and the Snyderverse, which was referred to as the DCEU. And there has been information in the news lately, somewhat viral information going about that there is some rumblings behind the scenes. Something is going on. Zack Snyder and the Snyderverse is trending once again. Just like it was a few years ago when the studios finally gave in to the hashtag and demand of release the Snyder cut of the Justice League. We all know that right now, those of us who are the nerds that follow these IPs with the film studios that produce the comic book films, we know that James Gunn, the director of the Guardians of Galaxy franchise, formerly from Marvel, he headed over to Warner Brothers to become the CEO of Warner Brothers DC, producing the DC Comics division of that company's interests. And he hasn't done a very good job, people. He has not. He's released a few shows, Creature Commandos, Peacemaker. He has a film out, Superman 2025. And he also has had his hand and influence in a few other titles that were not necessarily filmed before his takeover, let's call it, of DC Warner Brothers. Films like Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, The Blue Beetle, and The Flash. All of those films had James Gunn's influences on them, even though the films were shot before he took over. And his impact has been detrimental to the creative process because all of those properties scored far lower than they were anticipated to achieve. So we see that Warner Brothers is now on the market for sale. And there are other companies that are looking to absorb them and their properties. Paramount Plus is trying to get a hold of them. Netflix is interested. And many people feel that if one of those companies, or maybe even both, decide to take over, they may look to bring back Zack Snyder to finish his film series that he had intended. He had originally intended to film 5 films, and that started with Man of Steel. He followed that up with Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, and that was followed up by his Zack Snyder's Justice League. There was supposed to be a Justice League Part 2 and a Justice League Part 3, which the completion of those stories would bring about a full character story arc for Superman specifically, and introduce the other heroes to the audience. Tragedy struck while Snyder was shooting Justice League, where he lost his beloved daughter, and he had to step away from the project. And so Warner Brothers Studios called in, they called in Joss Whedon, who had directed the first Avengers film and also Avengers Age of Ultron. And they were hoping that Whedon would be able to bring an impact on the film that would make it more lighthearted and similar to what Marvel had done with some of their films. Even though the DC film products and storytelling is not as lighthearted as Marvel. Even going to the comics and graphics, they were never the same. They were different, which is why audiences followed one or the other or preferred one over the other. Someone like myself, I kind of like all of it because variety is the spice of life. Whedon's influence and the changes that he made to Zack Snyder's footage, he trimmed the film down to where it would come in under 2 hours. He added unnecessary and unwarranted comedic scenes. And overall, he didn't even include the best takes that were shot by Snyder. Anyone who has followed Snyder's work in the industry knows that the man really knows how to shoot action. He's an artist by talent. He can draw, and he has been known to storyboard all of his films to the degree that it leads to the cameraman, camera placement, and the movement of action on the screen could be followed by his little storyboards, which made for specific eclectic art, both cinematic and what he has produced on the page. Most people who have worked with him really have an appreciation for his talents in that area. Warner Brothers Studios didn't look at that. However, he was chosen by Christopher Nolan, who had done a tremendous job with the Dark Knight series of The Dark Knight Rises, The Dark Knight, and Batman Begins. Those three films, Christopher Nolan really put Warner Brothers on the market to compete with what Marvel was doing. So quite naturally, they were thinking, let's do a new Superman. And it was Christopher Nolan at the time whom the studio gave over executive powers and commissioned him to seek out someone who could kind of lead a new charge as far as their IPs going forward, to have something to compete with what Marvel was doing. And Zack Snyder was selected. You know, Zack Snyder had done films like The Watchmen and 300, where the action sequences were tremendous and some of the storytelling was quite compelling as well. So being commissioned to do a new take on Superman, but also with a serious tone, something that had not been done before, Snyder dived into the project with the hope and aspirations that he could one day do and produce his dream project, which would have been a cinematic version of the graphic The Dark Knight Returns. So he did Man of Steel, which was released in 2013, giving audiences a new take on Superman and the Superman mythos. One of the things that I really enjoyed about Man of Steel was the storytelling and the introduction of Krypton and the Kryptonians. That was something that was so well done and hadn't been done to that extent before cinematically. Richard Donner's Superman from 1978 touched on Krypton just a tad bit, but not to the extent that Zack Snyder was able to develop. And I think that's really what set things apart, because we got a chance to see the world that Kal-El / Superman / Clark came from and what his people were truly about. Once again, I want to welcome everybody that's out there. I know I've been rambling on. I'm on by myself this evening. My brother Drew Titan had other obligations. So I am doing the show alone this evening. But I do want to acknowledge you guys and interact with you, because by me being here by myself, I want to be able to talk to you guys. Let me turn this music down a little bit. I got something going on here in the background. Okay. Yeah. So let me kick off first of all with a roll call. Let's see who's in the building. Forgive my manners. I wasn't trying to ignore anyone. We got Adrian Viet out there saying salute Sensei. Zach got Gunn and his crony shook with just a few photos. Laugh out loud. All of Gunn's DC projects and related to it are flops. Creature Commandos, Blue Beetle, Pissmaker, the Suicide Squad, and Super Slop. Adrian Vitt, you sound a lot like that brother. Harsh Critics. Salute to that brother. He be out there calling it the same stuff. Maybe you be over there watching him too. But yeah, I agree. Woke is in the building. What's going on with you? He says salute, Stormy. Black Martial Arts Society is back with us saying salute. Universal Truth is out there saying salute, Sensei. And J-Man in the building saying, aye. Derek Gaines out there saying, yo. Stormybman salute. Stephen L. the Mac is in the building saying, Sensei, what's going on with you, Stephen L.? And Will Sinclair is back with us saying, yo, salute. Right back at you, brother. Derek Gaines says, James Gunn is killing DC. Yeah, they DOA, bro. Adrian says, they replaced Walter Hamada with worse leaders like Zaslav and Gunn. Yes, they did, man. Yes, they did. Snyder set the standard for DC when he released Watchmen, says J-Man. Absolutely, man. Watchmen is a great movie, man. It truly is. And it gets better with time. It just does. Adrian Villa says, you can't have fans get interested with your verse and then immediately take it away. Snyder fans felt that same pain when Disney decanonized and discontinued the real meat of Star Wars and the extended U. Yeah, I agree, man. Derek Gaines says, bring back Superman. And he says, was Snyder responsible for the Flash? No, he wasn't. He was responsible for hiring the young man that played the Flash, Ezra Miller, but the film didn't get made until several years after Snyder had walked away from the studio. So Snyder had nothing to do with the final release project, but James Gunn did, because the original director had to answer to James Gunn's influences as he requested that the director make changes. For example, the Flash film had cameos because it was based on one of the multiverse stories from the DC lore, Flashpoint. And there were former characters from the universe played in different intervals of time by different people, like Nicolas Cage's Superman. It was supposed to be Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. It was supposed to be Supergirl, Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman, Michael Keaton's Batman, and so forth and so on. And Zack Snyder came in and he told them, get rid of this, put this in. I don't want that. We're not going to touch this. He basically changed it over to something that he wanted it to be. And the film crashed horribly. And that was because of James Gunn's influence. None other, because he's the CEO, right? And he came in and told them what to do. They did it. And when it flopped, he was looking elsewhere to blame. Mr. Shelton says, the boogeyman. What's good with you, Mr. Shelton? Adrian says, the first scene they removed was Flash's epic scene. Just shows how clueless they are. Absolutely, Adrian. And check this out. Do you know that the Warner Brothers executives wanted to remove a special scene from Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman? And it was the No Man's Land scene where she walked across the field during the war and she was taking fire so that the other soldiers could come behind her. It was a Full Metal Jacket type moment, Omaha Beach type moment for Wonder Woman, showing that she was a superheroine. And they actually wanted to remove that scene from the film. That scene was the heart of the movie. Can you believe this? Patty Jenkins, the director, said, if you guys take this scene out of the movie, I will not direct another film for you, and I won't finish this film. She stood on her principles, and they ended up leaving that scene in the film. And I'm so glad they did, because like I said, that particular scene is the heart of the film. But it shows how stupid those producers were. J-Man says, Snyder's visuals are one of one. Yeah, he's number one in that department. Derek Gang says, I like the Dark Knight series. Eric Jordan says, Stormybman, salute Sensei, salute to you. Derek Gang says, 300 is one of the best movies I've ever seen. 300 is awesome. And some of you guys are saluting each other. Adrian says, David Gore and Chris Terrio's screenplay along with Zach's direction and visuals were the perfect combination. Hey man, Zach he's really underappreciated. He really is. J-Man says, the best Superman movie ever, Man of Steel. It's pretty darn good. I know that. It's pretty darn good. Black Mercer, I'm sorry, you guys are speaking to each other. Adrian says, Zach used excellent source materials for Man of Steel. Superman, Secret Origins, Earth 1, The Odyssey, and Birthright. The man knows his stuff. He doesn't just rely on cheap Easter eggs like Gunn. Man, Gunn doesn't even rely on cheap Easter eggs. You know what it is? He takes elements of the story that he'll look into, and he finds a way. And I want to say salute to Aaron Fisher, My Reviews. That gentleman has a great channel as well out there talking about this stuff. And he used the perfect term. He says that James Gunn bastardizes any superhero character that he gets his hands on. And that goes back to the Guardians of the Galaxy characters too. Because Zach and not Zach, um, what's his name? In the Guardians film, Drax. He's nothing in the comics like he is in the Guardians films. He's not a funny man. He's not a comedy relief character or anything. He was a man hell-bent on finding Thanos and killing him for wiping out his own family. And Star-Lord and all of that stuff, the stupid humor and the dance-off stuff and the quirks and funny one-liners, all of that stuff, that was not from the comics. But because people didn't know Guardians of the Galaxy, they received it and received it well because it was Marvel. And then he added music soundtrack to the stuff to kind of give it something that make it memorable. But once you do that a couple times, you have to come up with something new. And notice that the third film was nowhere near as good as the first one. And the second film was just kind of okay, and you accepted it and received it because of the first one. So, you know, Gunn, he was running low when he left Marvel. And another thing, he has a perverted sense of putting his personal thoughts and feelings about the world and society and everything into his films. He has an agenda to push, and that's not received well either. And it's just a whole mess dealing with that guy. And imagine taking a guy like he and making him the CEO. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Derek Gaines says the new Superman movie is horrible. I'll never see it. I won't watch any trailers for it. I won't watch anything. I don't want to support what James Gunn was doing anymore. I don't support it. Don't support it. Derek Gaines is asking, Stormy, have you heard they're doing a Supergirl project? Yeah, he's trying to push all that stuff out there because he know his time is limited. And like I said before, like Aaron Fisher says, all he's doing is bastardizing the characters from the IP, and anything that he doesn't have anything to do with, he gets rid of. He got rid of the Superman and Lois series, which people really loved. He got rid of the Batman Part 2 that was supposed to be in development. He put that on hiatus or shelved it or whatever because he had nothing to do with it, and it was popular with some people, but not as popular as the Nolan creations. But people wanted Ben Affleck's Batman back, and he didn't want to bring it back. I mean, he just really messed everything up. Adrian Villa says, harsh critics call Corn Sweat cornball. Yeah, man. And you know what? Corn Sweat, he's a victim in all of this because Gunn got him because he kind of looks like Cavill, but he's a few years younger. But at the same time, look at the guy. He took a guy that could have replaced Henry Cavill if he did it properly, but he made him into a punk, a weak Superman, a guy that gets kicked in the nuts and cursed out and screamed at. And I mean, that's not Superman. And all of that he did, the people are now showing that they don't have any appreciation for what James Gunn has done over the Snyderverse. J-Man says every DC movie now tries to copy Snyder blueprint, but won't bring him back is insane. They're not even trying to copy him, to be honest, man. They're doing stuff like, I heard about this Peacemaker, right? I didn't see it, but I heard about it. The opening season 2 episode had an orgy scene showing full nudity and everything. What is that? Bro, that is not DC. That is not what the DC people have put forward in the comics and graphics over time. And it was one of the most insulting things that I had heard outside of what they did to Henry Cavill by telling him to go on and announce that he has returned, only for Gunn to come out a couple of weeks later and say that he never hired Cavill to return as Superman. So it's just a big old mishmash, man, of garbage. Jonathan Simon is in the building saying, salute, OG. Blessings to you. Same with you, brother. Derek Gaines says, I thought Henry Cavill was the best Superman since Reeve. I believe so, too. I believe so, too. Derek Gaines says, I remember that scene. Oh, you watched it? I didn't watch it, but I heard all about it. I heard about it. Adrian says, for real, Sensei, they even asked Zach if he can use the ship to come back to Krypton, and he answered, Krypton blew up. What are you guys talking about? Listen, man, that's just stupid enough to let you know how stupid they are, bro. Are you serious? They said that. They asked Zack Snyder that, man. That's a double face palm right there. How could they even think like that, man? That's freaking stupid. Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. You can't make this stuff up, bro. You can't make it up. Let me put my other images up here. I got some other stuff I put up here for you guys. Yeah. So, my little sequence that I put up here for you. Man. I gotta read that one more time. He says, they even asked Zach if he could use the ship to come back to Krypton, and he answered, Krypton blew. You can't make this shit up, man. You can't make it up, man. That's crazy as hell. Krypton is gone. Where are you going back to? Shit. You can't. Oh my goodness, bro. Wow. Anyway. Derek Gang says, Stormybman, did Snyder go back to Marvel? Snyder was never at Marvel, bro. He wasn't at Marvel. He was with DC, Warner Brothers. J-Man says, they nerfed the hell out of Drax. Yes, they did. Drax was a dangerous character. He was like the Hulk, you know? He really was, but an assassin who could kill, you know? They totally messed that up. They could have had him go up against the Hulk in the movie. It was like, you know, that's how good he's supposed to be. That's it, you know? So Jonathan Simon is asking, OG, what happened to Green Lantern? WB got their hands on it, man. Zack Snyder was supposed to bring, what's his name, John, you know, the black guy, Green Lantern. He was supposed to be in the Justice League, the Snyder cut, but they wouldn't let him put him in there. We got other plans for Green Lantern they talking about. When Zach had General Swanwick was the Martian Manhunter in disguise, and the Green Lantern was supposed to come to Batman at the end of Justice League to tell them about, warn them about what's his name coming, Darkseid. So the studio executives wouldn't let Snyder use him. So yep. J-Man says the Penguin was the best thing out for DC lately. Well, just imagine if Zyder, if, man, I'm getting my words all jumbled up. I'm a little tired, you guys. Imagine if Zack Snyder had been allowed to keep his universe going. All of those characters would have been served justice, man. No pun intended. Their gang says, let's see. In Marvel, they made Silver Surfer a woman, turned Wonder Man into a black, and he's nothing like the comics. Where's the X-Men? Hey, you're gonna find out. You're gonna find out. That whole thing about making Silver Surfer a woman, there is a woman Silver Surfer, but why did they decide to do that? I don't know. I don't know. It just it's very frustrating with them gender bending and race swapping and all of this kind of stuff, man, because we need the heroes to be who they are. It's just like Warner Brothers. They wanted to get Michael B. Jordan to be the Black Superman. It's not Clark Kent. It's another guy from another universe that's a Superman, a multiverse Superman, and they wanted Michael B. Jordan to play the character. I'm like, dude, will you guys stop it already? You can't even get the regular characters correct on screen. Stop fooling around, messing with these people. Jonathan Simon is saying, Stormy, what do you think about a Super Friends movie? I don't think about anything like that, man. That's ridiculous. The Super Friends was a Saturday morning cartoon for children. These films that are made cinematically, you have to have some elements of it that the adults can enjoy. And the adults are not going to enjoy the Super Friends. That's just why the Superman that came out this year, from what I heard, everything that they was doing, him getting kicked in the nuts and stuff, it's like, man, are you serious? This is like Superman is weak, yelling at people and stuff. I heard that a character was killed in front of him and everything. I'm like, dude, I don't want to see that foolishness. Christopher Reeve or Henry Cavill would not have gone for that. Hey, I can't do that, man. I'm not going to be a part of that. You can't do that with me. Adrian says Tyler Hoechlin and Cavill really resemble post-crisis Superman. Hoechlin Superman even did sun dipping, which is an iconic moment in our worlds at war. Meanwhile, Corn Sweat cries with little sun ray. Hey, it's really bad, man, with what they're doing. Derek Gaines says, an orgy scene in Peacemaker, Stormy B, man, it makes sense if you've seen some of the cartoons. Dude, that is not the type of fare that you put on television after having people go see your film Superman in the movies, and you tell them, everybody go watch Peacemaker, which is directly related to the Superman film, and your children are sitting up there watching Peacemaker, and there's an orgy going on. How irresponsible is that? No. John Stewart. There you go. I was trying to think of that. Thank you, Isaiah GQ. Adrian says, yeah, Sensei, I think Film Junkie mentioned it and he talked to Zach personally. Yeah. BVO, what's good with you? I see you out there. He says that DC did great with the Penguin. Listen, when you got a good actor like the gentleman, what's his name that plays the Penguin? Colin Farrell. When you got good quality actors, it raises the game. It raises the stakes. But if you got poor producers and directors like a James Gunn, it's just going to be trash. Quality directors can take someone who's been trash and bring them up to mediocrity and sometimes into acceptability. But you can't turn trash into something good without someone who knows how to mold and shape it. Yeah. So, you know, Jonathan Simon says, damn, they did Superman like that. Oh, worse, man. I heard about the end credit scene with Supergirl coming in, cussing him out and stuff, calling him the B word and all of that. And where's my dog and this and that. It's supposed to be Supergirl's dog. And she's all drunk and everything. You know, just like Zack Snyder wouldn't have never done that. He wouldn't have never done that. J-Man says, good points. Adrian says, Superman calling his mother for advice or talking to Jonathan's soul were for greater moments of him showing his humanity. You show, you don't tell. He doesn't whine about his hurt feelings or yell and scream at people. I heard him yelling at Lois in one of the trailers that they were showing online. You know, I didn't go look for those things. I just saw bits and pieces here and there, but I never wanted. When they said that Zach, excuse me, I keep calling James Gunn Zach. When they said that James Gunn was writing and directing Superman, I immediately was non-supportive because I knew what it was going to be. It was going to be the Guardians of the Galaxy with Superman. And I'm gonna tell you something. If you look at that suit that Corn Sweat was wearing, that was a damn suit with a cape out of the Guardians of the Galaxy that what's his name? Star-Lord wears. A baggy suit with wrinkles and stuff. Superman's suit ain't never looked at that. Look at this picture of Henry Cavill's Superman suit and Batman's suit and Aquaman's suit, the Flash's suit. All of them suits look more comic, you know, comic-like than what that Corn Sweat crap was. He was so busy trying to make it different that he made Superman different. It wasn't Superman. You know what he was more like? One of those guys on what's that cartoon Drew is always talking about? You guys know it. If you watch these cartoons and animations, the one with the superheroes that's like Superman, they all fighting each other and they killing each other and stuff. What's the name of that superheroes cartoon that's out now? I can't even think of the name of it. Derek Gang says, yo, Stormy, my power just went out. We need to stop talking about Gunn. The boys, there you go, J-Man. Thank you, bro. I couldn't think. I told you I'm feeling a little fatigued this evening. My mind is not real sharp this evening. Or Invincible, yeah. Invincible and The Boys. Those shows. I was talking about the cartoon. One of them is a live action, though, right? One of them is live action. I think The Boys is live action and Invincible is the cartoon, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can correct me if I'm right. Drew's been telling me to watch those stuff, but I don't get a chance to watch it because I only got so many hours in a day, man. I be trying to cover boxing, trying to do some of this stuff for nerds, and then my kung fu stuff, dude. I don't have all that energy no more. I have to do what I can. So yeah. Ravens Nation, what's good with you? Isaiah says there's a scene with Mr. Terrific, and it's straight out of Guardians of the Galaxy. Listen, I heard about him too, and people were like, oh, he was probably the best thing about the movie or whatever. Let me tell you something, man. They don't stick to the source material. Superman don't need a whole bunch of other characters around him. Remember, when Zack Snyder did BVS, Dawn of Justice, they were complaining that Batman and Wonder Woman was in that movie. They was like, oh, there's too many characters. Those were just people who were being critical over Zack Snyder. But Zack was building a universe. That's why he called it Dawn of Justice. He even wrote that the final third act battle between Kal and Zod was witnessed in Gotham by Bruce Wayne, and the destruction that they caused and everything, it was like it impacted that, okay, this is why Batman got involved. You know what I'm saying? And there was going to be more exposition on Wonder Woman, Diana Prince. When her movie came about, they were supposed to go and explain more about her, but by the time the Justice League film was made, Zack didn't get to complete it. But man, it just, all I'm trying to say with this evening's show is that the reason why the Snyderverse must be restored is because it was about world building. Even the film Man of Steel was about world building, as Zod was thinking of rebuilding Krypton on Earth and taking the Codex from Kal to help him do these things. Derek Gaines says the second Wonder Woman was horrible. Yes, it was, and that was because the studios once again interfered. They wanted it to be more comedic and everything. DC, Warner Bros., they always do that. They'll have one successful film, and then they'll try to turn it into something else with the following sequels. But if you look back at Christopher Nolan, he didn't allow them to do that to him when he had his Batman trilogy. He stuck to his guns, and it was successful. The only thing that happened that he had no control over was Heath Ledger passing away, because Heath Ledger was supposed to be a huge part of the third film as well. Derek is also saying that the Batman was horrible. Listen, they made that film to spite Ben Affleck's script that he had turned in. He had written his script to do his Batman film, and they took the title and they took elements of his script. But they say that the script that Ben Affleck wrote, because he's a writer as well as a director. Ben Affleck is a very good director, even better director than he might be an actor. But they say that his Batman script was so awesome that it could have been like that film, The Raid, where Batman had to enter the Arkham Asylum and face off against all of his foes that were locked up in Arkham. Can you imagine something like that? Man, pure awesomeness. I gotta do something here real quick. I want you guys to do this. Hey, you guys, please take a moment out and subscribe to my other channel there that I'm simulcasting to. That's my Stormybman's Temple of Culture and Entertainment. Please subscribe to that channel. That's my third channel. And when I do this show, it will always simulcast over there since I created this show. Nerds. Just take a quick moment and give it a click and subscribe to the channel. And give it a thumbs up. Isaiah thinks that Black Adam was horrible. Black Adam was okay. You know, I'm going to tell you something. There were elements in the film that were pretty good. He was different from any of the other heroes that we had seen. And the other characters around him were interesting. Like Hawkman, they made him a black guy. But you know who he reminded me of? The Black Panther, flying around with that ship and everything, having that technology and stuff. See, this is why you need both DC and Marvel. This is why you need both. And you need the characters to be strong. I don't see the thumbs up on my other channel though, and nobody's clicking on it. Just click on it, fellas, and give me a thumbs up over there so I can get views. I only got 28 subs over there because this channel was just recently created, but I'm trying to do it. Yeah, the Flash movie was horrible. I can't even get through a second viewing of it. I tried. T-Berry, just look up, scroll up. The link is in the chat. I didn't pin it. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can grab it. I keep telling you guys I have to learn how to do certain things. Remind myself to do these things and do them correctly. Hold on. There it is. I'm sorry for that, guys, because I'm looking, I'm looking on the page of the other channel, and I thought it was on here. Sometimes when you do that, it'll it'll post it to both, but it only posted it over there. So I apologize for that. I keep telling you, Stormybman got to learn this stuff, man. How to do all of this. I be trying. Now I just pinned it to the top of the chat. So there you go. I see the thumbs up now. You guys are going over there hitting the thumbs up. Appreciate it. J-Man says they had the right guy cast as Deathstroke and did nothing with it. I disagree with that because Snyder had some plans for him. That's why you see him in there with them in the Zack Snyder's Justice League in that end credit scene when they got Deathstroke and all of them are together. He was going to do something with those characters, man. Okay, guys, there's the link. So please hit me up, man. Give me some likes, man, and subscribe because I know everybody's not subscribed to that channel that's in this chat. So please, it says there's 19 of you watching. If I could get 10 of you to subscribe over there, that would be wonderful. Please. You don't hear Stormy say please too much, but yeah, I have manners. Please sign up for me, man. I'm trying to do this stuff for you guys, Eric says, I'm trying, Sensei, but it let me through. What? It won't let you through? Not working? The link's not working? The link isn't working. Hold on, fellas. Hold on. Let me see. Try clicking that link and then try to subscribe to the channel. So let me know if that works for you guys. Working now. Okay, thanks guys. See, if you don't tell me, I won't know. So I shared the link to the stream, and then you can go to the channel, then you can subscribe to the channel too. There you go. So while you're there, guys, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll give you your wrenches while you're in the chat over there, because I got you pulled up. See here. Yeah. Okay, I see you brothers coming in. I got Drew in there now too. It's good to see you guys popping in over there. I'm trying to hand out the wrenches now. Damn it, didn't mean to go to the channel. Try to stay in the chat. See it. Okay, got you. J-Man. Okay, got you. Jordan. Got you. Derek Gaines. Drew in there. Yeah, this is the way to do it, man. Reinforcements. Get everybody their wrenches over here. And make sure that you write in the chat so I could get you and get your wrenches over there too. Yeah. Okay, there's Tay Tay. I see you out there, Tay Tay. Got to hook you up with your wrench. I hope I didn't miss anybody. Just trying to wrench you all up as you were writing up in there. Because once we do it that way, then we're connected on both. When I'm simulcasting, what you write over there will show up over here too on Stormybman. But it's about getting them connected. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, Tay Tay, this is the second non-boxing channel. This is actually my third channel, but my second channel is my Kung Fu channel. Yeah. So make sure you guys subscribe. I don't see the subscriptions increasing on there yet. Let me see. I have to change it up. Okay, yeah, now it says 34. Okay, cool. And hit the bell notification so you get all the notifications for it. Yeah. See, like now I can see Derek Gaines' comment over there and on the other channel too. So, yeah, that's how we have to make that connection. And thank you guys for subscribing. I would like that channel to catch up in subs. My Kung Fu channel is already up to 240 subs, I think. So it's just been so much boxing. I haven't been able to do a lot more Kung Fu, but I got plenty of Kung Fu to do. It's just that, time is of essence. Thank you, Tay Tay. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so this Superman 2025, James Gunn, he likes to take the characters and make them do stuff that is totally against what their whole arc has been through the graphics and stuff. Like, people are gonna appreciate that change. It's just like when they did that Fantastic Four film where Michael B. Jordan was the Human Torch. It was like people were upset that they made Johnny Storm a black guy, and they made the dad the black guy, and Sue was a white girl that was adopted. It was like, what are they doing? Just totally crapping on source material, man. And the Thing ran around with no pants on or nothing, so he was just a rock guy all over, huh? And it's like they tried to make him a large dude too, and the Thing is just a couple of inches taller than the rest of them, but it's like he's strong, he's muscular, like a little short bodybuilder, like Franco Columbo or somebody. Yeah, rock guy. Yeah, man. It was crazy, man. And they had him working for the military and stuff, going on secret missions, killing folks and stuff. I was like, that ain't the Thing, Ben Grimm. Get out of here, man. But one thing I will say about this Fantastic Four movie that Marvel did, boy, that Thing he looked just like Jack Kirby used to draw him in the comics. Looks just like him. He had the eyebrows and everything. They even had that moment in the movie where he grew out his beard. Remember that? He had a rock beard. I hope they don't do that. I hope they don't make Lawrence Fishburne Professor X, man. I hope they don't do that. If they were smart, they would keep the young man that played Professor X in the last couple of X-Men films. Keep him and keep Fassbender as Magneto because they're younger. Just let them be, you know. Because Professor X ain't Derek Gaines. Because Professor X ain't a black dude. He's not. Yeah, James McAvoy. I couldn't think of his name. Um, J-Man says it wasn't too bad, but it does make you appreciate the early 2000 film even more. No, I don't think that's the only thing that stood out. I think the guy that played Johnny was okay as well. I don't even know that guy, but I'm gonna tell you what it is. They they messed up so much on that one with Michael B. Jordan. It turned people off of the Fantastic Four, man. It really did. That guy, he turned the Fantastic Four into his characters from the movie Chronicle. If you ever saw Chronicle, it was a pretty good movie about young people who came into superpowers through an alien entity and how they were just young regular teenagers that became superheroes with powers. It was good. But he turned the Fantastic Four into like a sequel of that film, basically. Tay says Superman is my guy. Yeah, for whatever reason, I like the goodest Boy Scout characters, Superman and Captain America. I like those two guys. I really do. I guess it says something about me at the core of my feeling on what do you call it, on virtues or whatever, but I like those two characters. Now, what we need is some backstory on Galactus. But he was accurate. And why does Galactus's crown on his head look like that crown of the scepter that one Celestial used to destroy the planets in Guardians? Remember that? When what's his name was telling them about the Infinity Stones, and they showed that one Celestial striking the Earth with that scepter, it was shaped like Galactus's crown on his head. Is there a story there? Because if it is, I don't know what that story is, but I sure would like to know. And Galactus's eyes are purple, like the purple Infinity Stone. Is there something going on there? Is there a backstory? Now, see, Derek Gaines, I was giving you a break, you know. But see, you done went too far, huh? You done went too far. You couldn't just leave well enough alone, huh? Yeah. You just had to say something, huh? To make Stormy B man perturbed, huh? You just can't help yourself, man. You know, it's just like a thief who been caught, huh? And he go to jail. He get out. He be like, next time they won't catch me. See? Shit. See, that's the thought of a thief, huh? They won't get me next time. Mark, you just did 30 years. What you talking about? Next time. Shit. Now you see, Drew, this is what when people come in and they be hearing me, that's why I have to talk to people like Derek Gaines. Cause it's like they start trouble, huh? And you gotta be able to have your foot ready to put in their butt. See? Gotta get a whole new pair of brogans, huh? With steel toes on them. So Derek Gaines, what you worried about them releasing it for? If you hated it, why are you studying up when and where they gonna play it and at what theater and the show times and all of that, the date that it's getting released? What you waiting on all of that information for? If you hate the movie so much, huh? I just told y'all how I didn't want to see James Gunn's Superman 2025. I don't even know what the first scene of the movie is, or nothing. I know nothing about the movie except for it sucks, and it ain't gonna be in my collection at all. But you sitting up there, you telling us all about the Last Dragon, but you say you hated it, huh? Listen to he's like, now I can't talk boxing or kung fu, but movies I can. You can't talk movies, fool. You sitting up there talking about that the Last Dragon is a piece of trash. Your judgment of movies is trash, huh? You, we won't listen to your film critics, huh? See, you the kind of person that say, you know, that Fantastic Four with Michael B. Jordan is really a cult classic. That's you, huh? That's you. Or Billy Zane's The Phantom. You out there telling everybody who would listen, yeah, that was really great. It's a sleeper, huh? Or Dick Tracy with Warren Beatty and Madonna, huh? See, see what happened when you give certain people a microphone, huh? And a camera and a keyboard. They ruin it for everybody. Nah, see, you can't fool me with that one. You love both of them. You love both of them. That's what it is. But it's okay. A broken clock is correct 2 times out of a day. Huh? And Derek Gaines is right 2 times a day. Huh? Once when he opened his eyes, and the second time is when I close him from punching him in because he be saying this stupid stuff like the last dragon is trash. I didn't say I didn't like the raid. What you talking about, man? The raid is a classic. The raid is a classic, bro. See, look at him. Now he getting ready to start trying to twist up my words and all of that. I told you, when you arrest them criminals and then you release them back into population, they can't wait to start being a criminal again. Just born to break the law. Now he really talking crazy. Look at him. I'll debate you any day on movies. Do you realize that talking stupid is not debating? Huh? It's not. That's not what debating is. You got it twisted. You've been out here on YouTube too much. Let me help you out a little bit here, Derek Gaines. A debate is a formal discussion on a particular topic in a public meeting or legislative assembly in which opposing arguments are put forward. Nothing like stupidity or ignorance, huh? Yeah. Well, look, now y'all see what he just wrote there, right? You see that last thing he wrote? Let me put it on blast for you. You see that right there? Now, where Drew Titan at? Hey, Drew, if you're still out there, do you remember me saying you can't match wits with the witless? Huh? Now, you see him saying that right there, right? Now, that lets you know that he ain't got no business trying to hold court with Stormybman. Huh? F plus, get to the back of the class, huh? Failed you have. No. You said it right the first time. Don't you remember me saying the other day with Eric Jordan? I said, when you writing something, take your time and write so you can really express yourself. But you wrote the right thing the first time, Derek. What you're saying right now don't mean nothing. because you said the real thing first time. And that's what we're going to hinge on right there. You're high. Huh? That's it. Dope man. See? No. That's why I put your comment right there on the screen. See, you said what you meant to say. See, I say what I mean to say all the time. That's why I say F plus. No, we're not changing it to a C or a D. It's F. Huh? That ain't all you had. You done had a few more things, but I'm gonna tell you one thing: you're gonna take this L from Stormybman. That's right. And I ain't had no weed. You understand? Focus, I do. Yeah. That's not even a solid stance for you either, brother. You see, because you're wobbling all over the place. But that's okay because it gives us all time to learn lessons. And you taught us something this evening that weed cookies can make you act out of turn and misspell and misspeak and everything else. So, miss the point. Miss the lesson. All of that miss. You do so much missing, bro. I wish you would catch something, besides an L. Yeah, especially if you have some more than weed cookies. It'll be all love then. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I come to see you again. Oh, I tell you, man. You're going to be running down the street by yourself in your socks like Mookie from Friday. Anyway, look, what am I doing, man? It's time for me to go, man. You guys, I appreciate everybody that signed up over there on the other channel, though. That's real stuff there, real love and support. You know, because we got to get ready to head up out of here. But, yeah, I just wanted to come and talk this evening a little bit about, the Snyderverse should be restored and why I feel that way, And I hope that you guys can stand on that as well. I know Adrian is out there. He watches some of those other channels that I was talking about because that's important to be able to be connected and be on the same page about what we like, what we want to take in, So with that being said, I'm going to get ready to get on up out of here, you guys. I appreciate everybody that came out. I want to say shout out to the mighty LDBC. And we'll catch you guys next Monday for another Nerds. Hopefully my brother Drew Titan will be able to join back with us. And thank you one more time for signing up for the third channel. Peace to everybody out there. Have a wonderful week. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.